Welcome to the 517 In Your Business podcast. Here's your host, Mary Gaida.
517 in Your Business welcomes real estate broker Rob Buffington of White Pine Sotheby's to the podcast today. Rob, thanks for letting us get in your business.
Thank you for having me.
So tell me a little about your journey into real estate. I know we delved in just a little bit in our June-July issue of 517 Business, but what really drew you to this profession?
Well, so I've been pretty much in and around sales since I was very young. When I was in my youth, I sold newspapers door to door, and that morphed into other sales interests along the way as I progressed to adolescence and then in through college. And then once I graduated, I was working in the early 2000s on the financial side. A friend of mine from church was a mortgage broker, and he said, you should learn this. You'd be very good at it, and come work with me and, learn how to write loans and help people with, the biggest acquisition of their lives for most people. And so I did that. The end of 2002, I was looking to sell a property that we owned over in Groesbeck, and I reached out to a broker owner in East Lansing, and I hired their company to sell our house. It was my wife and I. It was our first house, and they did a phenomenal job. And then, like any good mortgage loan officer, I reached out to that broker owner realtor after he sold our house and asked for his business representing his buyers. And he said, well, why don't you go through the real estate course and come work with me at this company that he and his partner had founded. Back then, it was the company was called Assist to Sell. It was a discounted brokerage company. And so I did that, passed the real estate salesperson exam, and then joined his company late 2003, early 2004. And he basically mentored me for a few years. Then everybody knows what happened in 2007 when the recession hit. The partners went two different directions. They're both really good friends, just a little bit closer to the Chris O'Leary. It was one of the broker owners, and he and I became very close over the last 20 years. And but he left the industry, went into insurance, and then his partnered up with one of the top producers over at Coldwell Banker. I interviewed a lot of different places. I was only 3 years in, so I was still fairly green. But ultimately, I landed at Tommy Raines, which eventually would be acquired by Berkshire Hathaway. Partnered with a top producer that had been in the industry since 1988, and he taught me a ton just in the little bit of time that we were able to work together. Ultimately, it was a whole new learning curve for me because I went from a discounted brokerage model to a full service model, and they didn't really correlate or translate, if you will. I basically had to hit reset like a lot of people did during the recession. So none of those clients from Assist to Sell carried over, to the new business model.
Mm-hmm. So now, fast forward to current times, you're with Sotheby's, White Pine Sotheby's, International Realty. What makes working there different than the other brokerages?
Yeah, I would say, Sotheby's International Realty is truly a step above. It's not just a brokerage, it's a global brand synonymous with heritage, trust, and refined service. Our network spans over 1,100 offices in more than 85 countries,
Wow.
providing exposure that no local firm can match. And especially here at White Pine Sotheby's International, we combine the global reach with the intimate knowledge of the Greater Lansing market, giving our clients the best of both worlds, local expertise and elevated by international sophistication.
So I think, especially during COVID when we were all in the home, we learned more about what defines a luxury property today because that's what all we had, right? We had our home, our surroundings. So beyond the price tag, what defines a luxury property today?
Well, I'd say, luxury today is about experience and craftsmanship more than just a number.
Hmm.
It's defined by quality, whether that's architectural integrity, designer finishes, location, or privacy. In markets like Greater Lansing, a luxury home might include lakefront access, historical significance, smart home integration. But what I believe truly defines it is how the property makes someone feel, how well it reflects their lifestyle.
Absolutely. And so, have you noticed that buyer expectations change as you move up that price bracket? And how do they change? How are they different?
Yeah, I mean, as you move into higher price points, buyers become more discerning. They're not just buying a home, they're buying a lifestyle and experience. They expect flawless presentation, concierge level service, and complete discretion. In the luxury space, the details matter more than ever. High-end finishes, curated amenities, and above all, a seamless white glove transaction process from start to finish.
That must be, I mean, exponentially so much harder work. 'Cause I know realtors work very, very hard. But when you're getting into that luxury and the higher expectations and the concierge like service you mentioned, wow. I mean, kudos to you because that must be 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
It is, and we're constantly working to level up. The brand is amazing. The network, the broker owners, around the country and around the world, they just have welcomed me with open arms. And I can pick up the phone and call any broker owner, and they'll respond whether they're 50 agents strong or 500 agents strong, and they'll honestly just open up what they're doing to help us succeed. I mean, we're still a very small fish playing in a super large pond. So.
Let's talk about marketing because I know that is a big part of what you do. How do you market a multi-million dollar property different than, a standard home?
So, yeah, marketing luxury property is about storytelling and targeted exposure. We leverage the Sotheby's brand to position properties in prestigious international publications, proprietary digital platforms, and even through the Sotheby's auction house clientele. Locally, we create cinematic video tours, elevated print collateral, and private events tailored to high net worth individuals. It's a bespoke strategy, not just a listing, it's an experience.
hmm How are the rising interest rates or just the global economy right now affecting luxury buyers, or is it even affecting?
With luxury buyers, they're a little bit more insulated from interest rate shifts. They're more
hmm
likely to pay cash or leverage other financial vehicles. I mean, that said, global trends still matter. Economic confidence, stock market performance, and the geopolitical stability all influence high-end buying behavior. What we're seeing in Lansing is continuing interest from buyers looking to invest in lifestyle and legacy, particularly in properties offering privacy and long-term value.
Right. So with some of these luxury homes, how do you maintain the client trust? Because these are high stake transactions.
Yeah, I mean, I've been doing this almost half my life, and trust is everything in, every aspect of real estate, and I mean, all of our relationships, but especially luxury real estate, that piece of the market. My approach is grounded in transparency, discretion, relentless attention to detail. But at White Pine Sotheby's International Realty, we treat every transaction with care of a multi-million dollar investment because to our clients it is. We listen deeply, communicate clearly, and always prioritize our clients' best interests, building relationships that last long after closing.
So how important is personal branding for real estate professionals now?
I mean, I would say personal branding is more important than ever. It's a really diluted world out there. There's so much coming at us from, all these different directions, and it can get pretty confusing. With the world, the endless options, clients choose people that they connect with and trust. That means your brand is your promise. It tells clients who you are, what you value, and how you work. Partnering with, Sotheby's International Realty reinforces that identity with legacy of excellence and global credibility, which elevates everything I do in the local market.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's talk tech. How is technology changing the real estate experience for clients and agents alike? I love to browse through homes, whether I'm in the market, I just love it. I'm fascinated with it. So I love some of the newer options. But what do you see happening? Talk to me about the tech.
Well, and I think that that's pretty common. I mean, we market a ton on Zillow and Realtor.com, and there's a lot of consumers on those sites. And I will often get someone that will click on one of our listings and they're like, "Oops, I didn't mean to do that. I was just, perusing or browsing." But technology is transforming real estate in powerful ways, especially, AI. I mean, we're all using it, not probably at its capacity, but from immersive 3D tours and AI-driven marketing to real-time data analytics and secure e-signatures, the experience is more efficient, informed, and seamless than it's ever been. At Sotheby's International Realty, we integrate cutting-edge tools with high-touch service, ensuring that while the tech gets smarter, the human connection in the heart of our real estate remains at the forefront.
Yeah, so that human connection is so important. Do you think AI will ever replace real estate agents?
I mean, I don't think so. I think, people want to be able to connect with, yeah, it's not just a transaction. I mean, Zillow tried that pre-COVID. They had this program called iBuyer where they were buying houses and, they were trying to cut out the middleman. And people want to work with someone that they know, like, and trust. And AI is smart, but getting through the nuances, and I tell people this all the time, we do, about a transaction a day here at the company, a transaction every other day. And no two transactions are the same. That's one of the reasons why I love it. So teaching AI to try to figure that out, with every transaction, you have probably 50 to 100 moving parts. And so and there's always, something that comes out of left field that you never saw coming. So I don't know. I mean, it would, but I don't ever think it's going to take away the human interaction piece of it. I think people they want to feel like they've made a good decision, whether that's the broker, real estate agent, whoever that has taken them through the properties and shown them around, or the past experience. I mean, people rely on the 22 years of experience that I have in the real estate industry. I get people calling me all the time and they're like, "Hey, we know you've been in the business for a long time. We want to lean in on that, whether it's negotiating skills side of it or whether it's just everything that I've seen along the way." That's why people call realtors.
Yeah, it's deeply personal, isn't it? I mean, this is sometimes for some people, this is their whole life at stake, finding the right home and putting their trust in a person, a human being.
Right.
So yeah, we that's a very important connection, I think.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think, and I tell the people at my company this all the time. I'm like, anyone can open a door, but it takes, someone that has real intention and, a certain skill set that can negotiate and step in and take care of things when they're going sideways. I mean, that's really what we get paid for. We get paid to, sift through all of the noise and make sure that we're looking out for our clients throughout the entire process, their best interest, and negotiating the best price and terms, on their behalf. And that's not always easy, right? I mean, there's a lot of different obstacles, but that's our goal at the end of the
Mhm.
day.
So we've been talking about luxury properties. So let's do a little fun wrap up with you. City, mountains, beach, what's your personal dream property location and why? Is it here in the area? Is it somewhere far away? What's the dream?
Oh man. So my wife and I do a fair amount of traveling, when on off-peak season. And I've been to some beautiful places. I would say I love the ocean. We went to Hawaii a couple of years ago. It was absolutely gorgeous. But I really love the mountains. I've been to Alaska and Colorado, and I know that there's mountains all over, but I love to hike. I love being outdoors. And so probably somewhere in Colorado.
Okay.
She would probably like to be oceanside, sipping on a Mai Tai somewhere. And I don't sit idle a ton. So that's just not, I can sit on the beach for a day maybe and read a book, but outside of that, I need to be going.
So waterfront property with mountains in the backyard,
Yes,
essentially.
exactly. Yes, yes, that would work.
Rob, if you weren't in real estate, what would you be doing instead?
Oh man. I've had a passion for missions for a long time. I met my wife in 97, started going to South Church with her then, and started doing short-term missions with the church. Our church is huge into missions. I've taken all four of my kids on a mission trip. I really enjoy that serving and just connection and just taking us out of the busyness of life here in America. So I'd probably be doing that full time if I wasn't, doing what I'm doing. I went to Tijuana 2 years ago. I went to Greece in 2020, right before COVID hit, helping refugees come across they were being smuggled across the Aegean Sea. And so we were helping them get into Greece, the mainland. And, it's fulfilling. It's not why you do it, but at the end of the day, it's one of those things where it's like, I want to do this selfless act, but, it ends up, kind of filling you up more than, more than, I don't know. It's just the way that it works. But that's what I would do, I think, if I wasn't in real estate.
That's amazing. And then finally, what's one real estate myth you'd like to debunk for good?
Yeah, I would say it's not easier to do it on your own. I am a real estate broker owner of a company and I buy and sell a lot of houses. And I always list our properties. The market exposure is, especially at this day and age, I mean, statistically, NAR says that 96% of people that try to do for sale by owner end up selling with a broker anyway. So why not start there, right? I mean, especially over the last few years, people call me all the time and they're like, thinking about selling it to, and it's fine if you want to change hands between family members or something and give them
Mhm.
a deal. But market exposure is huge. For sale by owner is not easier. And again, negotiating through and the intricacies of every transaction, you want someone that has, that has a track record. If I'm having legal issues, I'm going to find an attorney that is very good at his craft and use that attorney for all of his past experiences, right? I'm going to leverage that. So it's the same sort of thing, I think, with real estate. I think a lot of people think, well, it's easy, I can save the 6% or whatever. And, but at the end of the day, if I get you 10% more than what you thought, then I've probably earned my 6%, maybe.
Well, thank you so much for spending some time with us today on the podcast. How can folks find you online?
Yeah, pretty easy. Our website is homeseekers.net, and we're right in Okemos, Michigan. As soon as you come across the bridge, we're the first business you come to.
Thank you so much, Rob.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to the 517 In Your Business podcast. Get to know local businesses better by reading 517 Business Magazine. Get your subscription at 517mag.com/subscribe.